Hey y'all, welcome to Naked Talk with Unprocessed Jess. Thank you so much for joining me, and I'm glad you're here. And today we are going to get a little steamy with Kim Bady. She is with She Wellness coach and Sanctuary Spa here in Houston, Texas. So I'm really excited about this. It's something that I heard about from a friend, Allison Cunhas, here in Houston. I met her through Beauty Counter, and I've shared with you in a past episode that once I discovered GMOs, genetically modified organisms, and started my blogging, I looked into reading food labels and started eating cleaner, but then I took it a step further and said, okay, are there things that I can do better in my home cleaning products and then my beauty products? And I started with sunscreen, and that's how I was introduced to Allison with Beauty Counter. And I just love a lot of their products and just having cleaner things in my life. So she told me about this thing called a Yoni steam. And I was like, ooh, okay, now we're talking. So I've asked Kim Bady to come on and to share a little bit about what it is, the benefits, and to answer some of my questions. And I'm actually I look forward to getting one soon. And so, yeah, let's just start. And if you have questions after, you can always email me at naked@unprocessedjess.com or send me a message on Facebook or Instagram at unprocessedjess.com or at unprocessedjess. So let's get started. Welcome, Kim Bady, to Naked Talk.
Yes.
How are you?
I am wonderful, fantastic, and so happy to be here today.
Yes, I'm glad that you're here. Right now, if you can visualize, Kim is in this beautiful dress with all these bright colors. And I remember seeing you online, Kim, with your gorgeous yellow shirt. And so you really just give off a positive energy. So I love it. So I'm glad that you're here. Tell us a little bit about what you do, and then also maybe a little bit about Sanctuary Spa and what we can expect from that.
Yes. Well, Kim Bady, and I have been working with women in the area of personal development and spirituality now for more than 20 years, probably right about 25 years. The last 5 years or so, it has grown into more, taken the turn more into the health and wellness. And the last 3 to 4 years really taking off after watching my father pass away and just understanding we just need to be healthier. And so joined the Institute of Integrative Nutrition, where I got my training on nutrition and holistic health coaching. And I've been working with Sanctuary Spa. We do Yoni steams there and a host of other services that help people with their self-care needs. So it's more than just about the food. It's about the other aspects, as you know, being a health coach as well. And so at Sanctuary Spa, we help people de-stress so they can come and get the Yoni steams as well as come to use some of the other services to de-stress. Yeah.
Okay. And I'm really excited about that. So I'm just going to start asking questions of, what I have, because I'm excited. I kind of know what it's about. But Naked Talk is all about talking about things that might make us uncomfortable and to kind of address some, we might have misconceptions about something. So we're just going to speak candidly here. Yeah. So I'm thinking Yoni, is that just another word for vagina? Or where does that come from?
Yeah, so the word Yoni is an ancient Sanskrit word, and it means vagina or womb. It's the translation means sacred temple or holy temple or sacred gateway. And I love those terms because it just makes it even more beautiful. I think sometimes when we hear the word vagina, sometimes there is a disconnect. And so, and it shouldn't be. And so I love what you're doing with the show and some of the other guests that you've had on to talk about these areas of a woman's body in a way that honors her. So looking at the whole word, because vagina just speaks of that one particular area. And we think of vagina as the totality, but it's not. So, there's the labia and there's the other parts of the woman's body. There's the clitoris. There's so many other parts than just vagina. Vagina just is that one, it describes that canal, if you will. But it's a flattened part of the body, and it expands if something comes in or goes out. And so the yoni encompasses the totality of the woman's genital area. So not just the vagina, but also encompassing the womb and the ovaries, the uterus. And so there are a lot of people who will say, well, I don't have a womb anymore. And so, why is this important to me? You still have that uterine energy. You still have the ovarian energy. And so when you say yoni, it just encompasses the totality of the female reproductive system, and it's also very important. And so we love using that word yoni. Of course, some people say vaginal steaming. That's absolutely fine. But we love using that Sanskrit word yoni because it's just so beautiful and just rolls off the tongue.
Ooh, it does. Yoni. I feel like, what's the little cartoon when he says, say it again?
Yeah.
So yoni steam. We're going to refer to it as a yoni steam because I have a podcast episode earlier on. It's vulvas, vaginas, and penises, oh my. And I talk about, just growing up, a lot of women, we don't see other whereas men, when they're in urinals and they see penises and they know that they're different colors and shapes and kind of to the left or the right. One, I didn't even know as a woman with children that, that was my vulva. That's my vulva. So we kind of touch on that in that episode. But it's so important to have that body literacy, to know that and know that vagina, when you hear it, you're right. It can be a disconnect. It can be something that's not a good memory for you. It could be something, well, I'm not a sexual person, so I don't want to talk about my vagina. There's just so much baggage or just misconceptions, I guess, that are around that. And I love that Yoni just says it's all of that. It just feels beautiful. And like you said, sacred. And I want to take that back. We need to take that back.
Reclaim that.
And reclaim
Absolutely.
it. And I love, too, that when you said, well, women might say, I don't have a womb anymore. I had a previous guest on, and she was talking about fertility, too, and how it's not just important if you are trying to conceive. And that's something, too, that I think a lot of us, we focus on, just like a lot of times in sex, right? Like a goal or an end thing or a product at the end. But it's not that. It's everything. It's the experience.
It's the journey.
It's the journey.
Yes.
So it is. It's important. So we're going to say Yoni steam.
Yoni steam, yes.
I love it. And so I guess tell us a little bit about, so what is a Yoni steam and what can we expect if we go to have a Yoni steam?
Yeah, well, Yoni steam, unlike what most people think, it is a very ancient practice. And so a lot of people think, oh, this is just something new that women are doing and it's harmful to your health. And, there's a lot of misconceptions out there about it and what it is. But it's a very ancient practice. And many cultures around the world would practice this in various ways. And they had different names for it. Some would say yoni, some would say just other words for it like hip baths and things of that nature. So all over the world, we found evidence of it being practiced in different ways. So in some cultures, they would dig a hole in the ground. They would fill it with bark and herbs and leaves and things of that nature, light that, and the women would stand over it. And she would do that for her postpartum care after giving birth. She would do it if she was having some fertility issues, if there was just anything, just to cleanse. And it's just a great way to incorporate herbal medicine to reclaim even that, because we were the ones who started all of that. We were the ones to go out in the backyard or in the bush and gather these herbs for healing. And so they also use this for the lady parts as well, and found great benefit in doing so. And as a result, we have picked up some of these old traditions and we're modernizing them. And so when you come to places like Sanctuary Spa, you will get a full spa experience. So you're not going to be standing over a hole in the ground.
Man, no.
That would have been something, right?
Yeah.
You're going to be seated in a very beautiful room, very cozy room. At Sanctuary Spa, our Yoni room can accommodate up to 4 people. So if you have friends that want to join you in having this experience, you can invite them to come along with you. Or if you're just saying, no, I just want to come and just have my own spiritual, quiet, meditative experience, bring your crystals, bring whatever, bring your water, we will provide water and things of that nature. But if you wanted to bring a book, have a meditative time, you can do that alone as well. So it's just a very calm and relaxed atmosphere. You're going to be sitting in a very comfortable chair, and it's just a really beautiful spa experience. So yeah, it's not scary. We have a lot of people who come in for the first time and they're a little nervous about what to expect, but it's just a very relaxing atmosphere.
Yeah, and I think when you're saying about the postpartum care, we've talked about briefly before, when you're pregnant, it's, baby, 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 baby. And then you have the baby. And then it's, okay, you had the baby and now it's baby, 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 wellness checkup, all of this. And then the mom is like, now you're busy with the baby. And I think it's so important that we focus on the mom before, during, and after. And this is a great way, it sounds like, to just have that kind of time.
Yeah.
And even to experience that with, there's all kinds of things that come to my mind. Maybe instead of doing something for the baby, a lot of times, you probably know as well as I do, like here, we just have excess of things, right? So a lot of times moms don't need, I'm just thinking back to when I had my first two girls 18 months apart, and then I had my other daughter. I may not have needed another thing, or another gadget,
right.
but I could have used a meal, or I could have used those things.
Right.
And I think if we change our mindset to ask the mom, or really think, okay, what's going to help the mom? I think this is a great way. Either, say you can give that, but say this is for after when the baby gets here. And then maybe take it a step further and say, I'll watch the baby while
I love
you
that.
go.
That'd be a great baby shower gift.
Yes.
Yeah.
And so maybe just think it doesn't have to be used right then. And now you're already putting that into that mama's mind that, hey, once this baby gets here, that's great. Because I know when my first daughter was born, I'm like, I'm done. This is it. It's love. And I was having it was not a good situation. I share that in my story in episode 1, but then it all became about the baby. But then I slowly started slipping away and lost myself.
Yeah.
So let's capture that now. And let's start those conversations so that we as women can also let our children know that, yes, you may choose to be a mom one day, and it's going to be beautiful.
Yes.
But mama needs some time too. So I love that. I love all of that. And I know that, so I love that. I'm loving the herbal, and it's just like a lot of things in my journey. I've been on my journey for a while, but I didn't know about this. I learned in another episode about pelvic floor physiotherapists.
Yes.
And it's not just for, people who've had babies, or it's for people with a pelvic floor. That's men and women.
Absolutely.
So I wanted to touch on the fact that you said it's not anything new. It may be new to us.
It's new to us.
But just like a lot of things in holistic health, meaning for you listening, if you don't know, holistic means all areas of your life and body are interconnected and they affect the other. And it's looking at the whole person and not just one piece. And how would you explain it, Kim, in your own words? Is that kind of what you would say if someone said, what does holistic mean?
Yeah, absolutely. Pretty much the same. Just, we are not just one dimensional. So we have these various aspects of our lives. And in the program, Integrative Nutrition, they talk a lot about, you can eat all the healthy food you want. You can eat the greens, the broccoli, you can go to yoga, you can do all of these things. But if there are other aspects in your life that are not well, you're not going to feel well. So if those relationships are not, where they should be, if you're in a career that you just absolutely hate and can't stand to get out of bed every day, and I've been there, then you're not going to feel well. And, thankfully, I'm in a career now that I absolutely love. So, all of these aspects of our lives, if we're not moving enough, if we're not, if we are, not feeding ourselves the great nutrition off the plate and on the plate, we say. So, it's looking at our lives, in totality, as opposed to just one particular area, because we can get you to start eating well today. And, you can still be suffering from so many other things with stress and adrenal fatigue and so many other things. And I mean, even working out, we don't even realize sometimes that, when we say, oh, go work out or do this, program, it's really up to what's best for you.
Yes.
Because I can go and I can work, and I've worked out with trainers and I've had some great results, but a lot of that has not been sustainable for me. And so it's really about finding out what works for you, but looking at the different aspects of your life as well and having experienced wellness in various areas of our lives.
Yeah, that's what I, say as well. And also, and when you were saying about the workouts, that's something too I've addressed, that just because it's working for someone else or someone you saw on Instagram or even your friend or your partner, it may not be right for and you know this as well, being from IIN, is bio-individuality.
Yeah.
It may not be what's best for you, but as we start addressing these primary foods, we talked about that in another episode, and as well as our nutrition and food, we're seeing what works with our body, and then you're able to listen to your body.
Yes,
and
that's the important. That's the important piece, just to really listen to your body. Because I know for me, I'm not going to sit and do 100 crunches a day or 50 squats a day. But what I can do is turn on some music and get dancing, or pull out my hula hoop, pull out my weighted hula hoop, and just, start engaging my core that way. And so it's really about, holistic living. It's truly about finding out what works for you and addressing all these other aspects of our lives. And as you said, listening to the body, because we have been just trained just to be in conflict with ourselves. And as you know, having daughters, I have a son, but I remember when my son was really young, and I was in the mirror one day, not happy with my body, looking in the mirror, touching my skin like, oh, I'm getting fat over here. I'm getting fat over here. And that dialogue that I was having on the inside, I started to voice it. So he heard that. And I remember a while later him saying, Mommy, am I getting fat? Now, where did he learn that from? He learned that from me. And so when we can come home to our bodies and learn to love our bodies and accept these parts and these aspects of ourselves that were once, deemed as dirty or, not valuable or just hush hush, then our children can embrace that as well. They can start to love on themselves, learn to listen to themselves, and not, think that these things are bad, or parts of us are bad and need to be fixed. But no, they just may be some symptoms to cause us to just tune in and start to listen a little bit more and learn what our body needs.
Yeah, because at the end of the day, we can change the outside. Just like you've said, I say a lot, whole health is more than just eating greens and looking hot naked. Like, there's benefits to that, but then again, what is hot? Like, what is hot? You know, and where are we getting this idea of hot? Is it, the last ad we saw? Is it, something that someone in a past relationship left us for somebody, and so then you have to really wrestle with those things. Yeah. But not only that, like you said, our children are, even if we don't say it, I was guilty just as much as the next person of like taking a picture and saying, let me see it first.
Oh,
but then I would tell my girls, when they would tell me, I'd say, it's fine. What are you talking about? And then I'm like, okay, Jess, like, this is ridiculous. So I had a friend over that, she was our first guest actually on the show. And she invented breastfeeding friendly bikinis and swimsuits. It's just amazing. I'm like, where were these things when I was breastfeeding? And we did a little photo shoot at my house. And at first I was like, okay, let me see them. And I said, we were just being moms and talking and not worrying about angles. Nothing wrong with that. And I do fun, like little photo shoots and stuff. And I think it's fun. But at some point you have to say that can be done, but I've got to be okay with myself. Yeah. And if I'm not, what message am I sending? And so if we're grown women dealing with this, what are our children thinking about? And we didn't even have this as kids growing up, all this, different things that they're seeing. So I love that you say that, because it does. At the end of the day, we can change the outside, but until we really believe it and have these other things in alignment, it's not going to be sustainable. Yeah. But I also say, let's try to do as many things naturally as we can to take care of ourselves. I'm 42. I've shared before, I looked in the mirror and I'm like, oh, that little line used to be there just when I was, yelling at my kids all the time. Well, I don't yell at them all the time. Why is this still here? And so then all these things start coming to my mind, like, well, I know my friends do Botox, and is that an option? Or, what can I do? Or should I not be in the sun as much? And then you just have to say, I'm going to do as much as I can from a natural approach. And if I want to do these things, that's my choice, right? But what can I do to make my life the most enjoyable as it is now? So I love anything like you're saying with the Yoni steam. Not only is that good for us on a physical level, but it helps us. Like now I'm just reclaiming that again.
Yeah.
But this is an area that can have love and can have attention apart from sex, which sex is great, let me tell you. Now that I've changed my mindset on it and I actually enjoy it, I know what my body wants. It is a whole new world out there, Kim. I'm like, yeah, now we're talking. Like now we're talking. But apart from that, it's just a part of your body as well. So what are some of the things that I know people are probably wondering, okay, like, does this help with my hormones, or do I go if I'm on my period, if I'm not? How does that all work? Because, of course, we usually think of our menstruation when we think of that area.
Yeah.
So what can you say about that?
So it helps women who are dealing with PMS. So you don't want to come when you're actually on your period.
Okay.
But before, it's a great time to come. And then sometimes women would like to come after, because it's just a good way to help the body cleanse. And so it's great for PMS, women who struggle with menstrual pain, women who have headaches and things of that nature. It's also great for postpartum, as we said earlier, fertility issues, women who have recurring infections. So there are different herbs that address those needs. They're antimicrobial, antibacterial herbs. But the beautiful thing is that the herbs don't disrupt the natural flora, because we want the good bacteria to do its job and to keep the bad bacteria away or at bay. And so it's great for, cleansing and healing, pelvic floor issues we spoke about. It helps to strengthen the pelvic floor. So women will come in and they're like, so should I wait to have sex? And, it's, later on. I said, no, the best time is to have it, that night or after you leave, because the herbs that are used are toning, astringent herbs, and they're just good. And so even without all the benefits of the steam, you feel more confident after you've just had a steam, because you feel so clean and you feel so fresh. And so you feel more confident. So it's just a great time to go and be with your partner right after, having a Yoni steam, or later on that evening, or even the next day. But then you get the benefits of the healing herbs. And so there are a lot of women with incontinence issues, and then that's great for them. Women who have bladder infections and things of that nature, even hemorrhoids, it's really good for. So there's just a host. Oh, and then the big thing, because I'm getting older now, I'll be 46 this year, and I'm starting to experience some changes in my life, in my cycle. It's not the same. It's a little more irregular. And I'm dealing with all of that, and then using the herbs also to help with that. And so as women age, sometimes they experience vaginal atrophy when the tissues become thin, and it becomes painful sex becomes dry. And so the steam is excellent to help with those types of issues as we age, because it stimulates that blood flow, gets that blood flowing and circulation going on down there. And so which helps to promote the moistness and helps to promote lubrication. And so just a host of things that it's just wonderful for. And so I love being in this position and seeing women, firsthand say, this has changed my life. Like the quality of my life has changed. Like I'm more lubricated, or I don't experience the PMS as much. And so we encourage the women to come in on a monthly basis just for, ongoing care. And there are some who will come in more than that if they're dealing with something, in particular, women with fibroids. And while we make no medical claims or anything like that, we have had women to come in and say that their fibroids have shrunk as a result of coming in over a certain amount of time. And so we do recommend regular visits. And so making it a part of your self-care. We go get our nails done and lashes and all that stuff. Come give your Yoni some love.
That's right.
Yeah, and
Get the
just
facial, and then we get our yoni.
Get your yoni some love as well. And it's just a great to sit there during that time. It's a 30-minute service at Sanctuary Spa. And it's just a very healing, nurturing experience. And while you're sitting there, if you want to come and bring your friends and y'all have, champagne during that time, that's fine. But if you want just to have that me time, that self-care, and meditate, do some breathing exercise, really focusing on the yoni area. It's just a beautiful, beautiful, nurturing experience for yourself. And I've experienced firsthand on how we can shift our energy just by, sending loving thoughts to different areas of our bodies. I mean, immediately, light speed, we can shift these things. And so this is a great time because we do hold a lot of unprocessed emotions and tensions here in the pelvic area. And so sitting there, allowing that steam to kind of start moving that energy, getting all that going, it's a great way to address these issues that we, as they say, issues in our tissues, things that we keep here that we have not moved out. And so it's a great way to address those things.
Yeah, and we were talking about perimenopause in a previous episode, and I definitely want to talk about that more because at 42, I am starting to go through those things, and I'll notice subtle things like I never really had much of cramps. My period would last 3 days. It wasn't real heavy, and it's still pretty much on schedule now, but it's still that kind of, okay, what if? Like, what is going to change? So we've been trying to talk about that more, kind of what to expect, but she said the same thing. You need to just listen to your body, be in tune with it, and say, oh, I noticed this. And going back to the workouts that worked for her before, she noticed it wasn't best for her body. And so I think it's important for us to be open to change and to say what worked before doesn't work now. And being open to that and know it's not a one size fits all because we're not all the same. So I love that it can kind of nurture us through this time. And as well as, like you said, like make it a part of your care routine.
Yeah.
And I can totally see how that would make you feel more confident and sexy. We all get it from different things. So when I do my workout, and it looks different all the time because that's just me, I love changing things up. But I feel good. I've got the blood flowing. I feel sexy and confident. And then if I have something after, I love when I have, a meeting or something after because I feel like I bring my best self forward.
I love that.
And I might be more open to expressing my ideas more. And so to have that, I think just giving it that love and attention will make you feel more, whether you're going to have sex or whether you just want to feel loved. You're giving that area more attention. And I loved how you said about speaking and sending things to that area. I had a friend that we were talking, and she said, I notice when I'm not in a good place, whether it was her relationship or really stressed, she said, I feel like it just shows up around my vagina. Like, I've noticed that. And then when she's in a really good place and feeling good and in a good relationship, she doesn't have any issues. Nothing's changed. It's not that she said, the common things like I've eaten a lot of sugar or I'm not drinking water. It's the relationships. I don't know if there's anything to that, but this is her experience.
Yeah.
But it makes sense because
it does, absolutely.
All areas are connected. And I've also say too, which I know Kim, but we're spiritual beings in a material world. So we're always needing to balance that disconnect with, hey, hold up. Let's bring it back in for a second and make sure that I'm being still and I'm just in this moment and listening to what I need. So I love that. I love that y'all do that and y'all offer it. Is there anything else that you can share maybe in conjunction with the Yoni steam? Like what are some other things that maybe we haven't thought about? Because like I said, I didn't know about this until my friend told me that we can either be doing at home or that something else that you might offer at the spa that goes along, like kind of complements that.
Wonderful. So one of the things that I like to do at home and on a daily basis is to this idea of just dropping down our attention from the busyness of our thoughts and bringing that attention to the womb space, the totality of the womb space. So everything in the genital area and the reproductive area. And again, if you do not have ovaries, you've had them removed. If your uterus has been removed, you still have that energy there. And so just on a day-to-day basis, dropping down, and I like to do this in the morning, because this is an area that we are very, very disconnected from, the womb area. And I've been doing this womb healing work for a while now. And I found that it has connected, caused me to be much more connected as a woman. It has brought me home to my sacred center. I believe that the womb houses so much information, and that coming home to this wisdom allows us to come home to ourselves. We are a living library, and there's just so much here that we can tune into. So I think in addition to coming in and having those steams, it's wonderful. It's a great experience for us in the morning or in the afternoon, or, driving home, or even before we go to bed, just to drop down and bring our attention to the womb space and do what I call some womb breathing. And again, we hold a lot of unprocessed emotions here, and doing some really deep breathing, pushing that abdomen out on that inhale, deflating it and, pulling it back in on the exhale, and do a lot of visualization truly helps. So when you're sitting down getting your yoni, or just whether you are at home, you're just visualizing, drawing in that breath, and visualizing beautiful light just coming in and healing parts of us that we don't even know need to be healed, because we've just stored so much stuff here. And then on that out breath, just releasing it with a nice cleansing breath. If you do, 5 to 10 of those every day, you can reap so many benefits of just things moving around that you didn't even know was there. Some women, when they do this, it immediately brings tears to their eyes, because they've been so disconnected, and it feels like, I'm coming home. There's healing here, there's information here, there's wisdom here, and just connecting to this area, we feel like, oh, okay, this is my sacred center. This is where all of life comes from. This is where we've all come from. And so there is this a more of a connection to our bodies, and a more of a connection to our womb. So that's one of the practices that we can start doing right now. Just doing that deep womb breathing and connecting to this sacred space and the sacred energy and this very intelligence within our body temples.
Yeah, I love that. And it reminds me of when I first started my journey. So when I started blogging, this was, almost 9 years ago, it's because as a semi-new mom, I discovered GMOs, the genetically modified organisms, and freaked out, went and threw everything out of the house, made my own almond bread. And I've shared before, my stepsons would never eat at the house. They'd say, oh, already ate. It was horrible. But then we balanced out, and we said, okay, we're being realistic here. We want to be sustainable. So now the main things at our home are clean, unprocessed foods. But then we have things as well that are not the best, but we just have a really good balance. But what I wanted to say was, once I started looking into my food, I realized I had such a disconnect there as well. This is something that I'm putting into my body to keep me alive and going. But I had such a disconnect. Didn't know where it came from. Didn't really understand it. And I think that's just what happens as we get further and further removed from the source. And with our womb, and like you were sharing, we've got all these messages we see every day, and we're busy, and we're adding things and people into our heads and our schedules. It's so easy to have that disconnect. And we need to just, you might be listening and hear, yes, I've heard this, Jess, all the time, but you need to slow down and just stop, whether it's breathing, chewing your food, When I started doing those things, I thought it's like a lot of things. You don't know what you're missing until you have it, experience it. And then it's so much nicer, and you just feel just better. I've shared about like the morning pages. I know you know about that as well.
I love that.
And I share more things in my Morning Mojo episode that you can do. And I don't want you to get overwhelmed listening to this, but just know there are things that you can do to start with. Even before you can get out and get your Yoni steam or do these other things. Yes, make that a priority and add it in, but you need to start somewhere.
Yes.
So, it's it doesn't take a lot of time. There's free things you can do. And then as you start getting those kind of good feelings from that, you're going to want to do a little bit more.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I love doing something simple as just speaking some kind words over your yoni area. And when you think about plants, there's so many studies that show when you speak to plants how they thrive. So speaking to your body in a very loving way, just you will reap so many benefits. So definitely, before you can come in, and hopefully you'll all come in and schedule your yoni steams. But before you do that, just bringing some attention to this area just is so helpful and so nurturing to your body, and just helps to shift a lot of the stuff that you've not even dealt with, or just shift some of those emotions, and helps to bring that up to heal that.
And I just want to say real quick, as we're talking, it's coming to mind just things I've touched on with different things, but so many things in our life and health, we focus on the aesthetic or the external, right? So it's kind of like we've mentioned before in an episode I had the period guru on here, Jenna Longoria, and she said, well, we give our period attention because it shows up and shows out, you've got to kind of deal with it. But then we forget about the ovulation, right? Because we can't see it.
Yeah.
It's just kind of like weight. If our weight gets to a point where we don't like it, we want to do something, but it's the weight because we can see that, right? But we're not getting back to why is the weight there?
Yeah.
And we're not touching on that. So same as we're talking, it's coming to mind like our yoni steam. We're not giving that, maybe, a lot of us, that attention because people can't see it from the outside.
Right.
They can see my face, so maybe you're more likely to go get a facial. But let's give love to the inside too, and not allow it to get to the point where now we're having symptoms, right, that we don't like. Let's take, an approach to like love the insides too.
Yes, I love that.
And I think that's something I've seen as I've met more people on here, is I think it's a mindset shift as well of, we are so visual as a society, but let's not let that be the only thing. Let's really, to make that sustainable changes, let's really work on, let's peel back the layers. Like I said,
I love that.
There's a lot of layers in myself. I'm like, I'll peel back another one, and I'm like, nope, keep going. There's more good, bad, and ugly. And then I give it attention, and I say, okay, what am I going to do with this? So yeah, I can totally relate to someone even crying, because especially if you have trauma around that, it can bring up these emotions. But it's in a healthy way.
Yeah, absolutely. And then when you start to learn to listen to your body, then you'll get those clues. Okay, so maybe I should go talk to a therapist.
Yes.
And that wisdom is always coming up. If we just quiet ourselves to listen, sometimes it's like, go sit outside by some water, or go ground, sit on the ground, put your feet on the ground. Maybe it's, I need to go talk to, my minister at church, or just, a friend. And so, we should listen to the wisdom of our bodies, because it's, the wisdom is always there. And when we get quiet enough and tune in, then we can listen for that guidance and then know what's next to do. Because sometimes, as you're right, some trauma may come up, and you may have to go deal with that in a very, in a professional setting, and speak with a licensed therapist. And deal with those things. But when we bring attention to it, as you know, whatever we kind of focus our energy on is going to expand. As we start to bring attention to it, it's like it comes up and it's like, whoa, where did that come from? Yeah. But it was there all along, and it's just so beautiful to honor that, whatever that is.
Yes.
And to heal that, whatever that is, to make peace with that. And so it's just so very healing and nurturing, and it's an act of self-care to allow these areas in our lives that we may have repressed to come forth and to heal those areas.
And something as well I'm thinking of, it's just coming up to my mind, is a lady that I spoke with after hearing one of my episodes, and she said, thank you so much for bringing up attention to this. She did approach her physician, who actually was on the podcast, and she said, I talked to her about this area of my life, and it's helping me. And I want to encourage you, if you're listening and you're saying, okay, well, I'm, and you fill in the blank, I'm like this right now. I will do that later, but I'm going through all this. That's the time you need it. And you would be so surprised at what are behind, as you know, Kim, too, but like not just managing the symptoms, but what is behind that. And it might be as simple as to start that process in motion, really, like you said, honoring your body. Yes, I have so many people say, I don't like how I look, and that was me. There was a time when I just did not want to look in the mirror, and it's not that I was obese or anything. It's just, I couldn't stand what I saw, because I allowed my circumstance to define who I was, and it was embarrassing. Am I sharing some of my story, how when I left a toxic relationship, I had a 10-month-old and I was pregnant, and you just you're taking on all these expectations from everyone else and what you should be, and it can just be devastating. But looking back now, I realize I didn't take care of myself, because at the time I'm like, I'm not really worth taking care of. I'm just going to take care of my babies and I'll be fine. But I encourage you, if you're listening and you are going through that take that one step for yourself and honor yourself, even if it isn't that, if you're in what you're saying is a really dark time in your life, you've got to start somewhere. And I loved how you said that. You give it attention and it'll start expanding. And you really will start seeing things differently. And then soon you'll see people or things go into your life at just the right time. It's really cool, isn't it?
Yeah, it's beautiful.
So I love all of this. I'm excited. We need to have a Yoni Steam Day.
Yes, I can't wait. You let me know and I will get you scheduled, and we will greet you as we always do with smiling faces and give you the royal treatment like we do for everyone, of course.
Yes.
But we would love to have you into the spa.
Yeah, I'm really excited, and I can share my experience on here.
Yes, please do.
And then if people have questions, if you have a question, you can always email me at naked@unprocessedjess.com, or on Facebook or Instagram. I'm Unprocessed Jess, and I can ask Kim if you have any other questions, or ask questions for me. And then when I go in, I can share that experience with you. But I'm really excited. So let us know, Kim, how we can find the spa is Sanctuary Spa. Actually, it's your website
so the website is Be Sanctuary.
Be Sanctuary.
B as in boy, E as in elephant, sanctuary.com. And then the social media, if you're on Facebook, you can look us up under Sanctuary Spa Houston. And for those who are on Instagram, we are at Sanctuary Spa HOU.
Okay.
And then you can call us. We're in the River Oaks area of Houston, Texas. Give us a call. We'd be happy to explain the process to you. It's very relaxing, very nice warm steam, so it's not too hot. Of course, we keep it nice and low for you, and there's no benefit to having it hotter versus cooler, because sometimes women will go, well, can you turn it up a little bit? I want it to be hot, like my hot bath. Like, no, it shouldn't be too hot. But you're going to get the benefit of the herbs on a nice low temperature, and it's just a very relaxing, calming experience. And many women, after, they say they feel clean after. They say they feel a little tingly after. Some may even feel a little aroused.
Ooh.
So
that'd be a great date night.
Yes,
or something after a little prep for your date night. And then share with us a little bit how we can find you if we're wanting more guidance and support of you as a coach as well. I'd love for you to share that.
So I can be found on Facebook at Kim Bady, and then on Instagram, She Wellness Coach at She Wellness Coach, and then my website, shewellnesscoach.com, and can definitely help you there if you have questions about womb healing, about Yoni care and things of that nature. I would be happy to speak more of that. I post a lot of the stuff on my website, menstrual cycle awareness and all of that. It's so needed. And I have a lot of women who ask me about it because they want to teach that to their daughters. And so I love this type of work because it empowers us, and then we can share this with our daughters.
Yes, for sure. I will put that information when you go to, if you're driving and listening or can't write it down, I'll have the links in the show notes at unprocessedjess.com/podcast. And you can look for Kim's episode, Steamy Talk with Kim Bady, Yoni Steam, and I'm going to be saying that all week.
Yes.
Like, I'm going to go Yoni Steam.
Yoni Steam.
And yeah, I would love to have you on again as well. And I would love to see Yoni Steams going on around. So we would love to hear from you if you've had one, if you have questions, or what your experience has been. And I want to see this. I want to see this more. I'm excited. I heard about it. So I want to spread the word so we can get more of these Yonis steamed and feel empowered.
I love it. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Kim. And thank you for joining us today. Be sure you subscribe to Naked Talk with Unprocessed Jess so you'll know when the next episode comes out. And I will talk to you next time. Bye.